So by bending it to an S form, we could fit it in between the trees. But what we wanted to do was not just to preserve the existing trees, we wanted to turn the whole site into a walkable public park, open to everyone all days of the year. So therefore we needed to cover the building with a green roof, and we needed to make it accessible to pedestrians. So we needed to somehow connect it with the ground. And therefore we pushed this one side of the building mass down and created this artificial sloping topography. So these are initial sketches showing our intention to use the whole site as a park and to use the water tower. And there were two other very important elements that we wanted to incorporate into our design. First of all, the inner street, like the one I showed you, the Long Bazaar, where all the inner circulation will be solved at. And the second one is transparency, literally by means of a transparent glass facade connecting visually inside and outside, and symbolically emphasizing the transparency of the state apparatus, which is a bit problematic in Turkey, unfortunately. So while developing the design, we found out that we could carve out 2 stories from the building mass. This is a section, and create a shaded colonnade, like in the traditional architecture. And in that way we could also visually connect the inner street and the park. So this is a 3-dimensional sketch of it. And in the end, what we did was we sliced off the middle portion of the building mass and created a big atrium space, a gallery space above the inner street. And we also lifted off this northern wing of the building by taking out the 2 stories here facing the park area. And then we covered the resulting void with transparent glass in order to achieve an illuminated interior as well as visually connecting inside and outside. So then immediately we started studying the structure. How were we going to support this flying wing, the northern wing? So we wanted to reinterpret the load-bearing arches of the traditional architecture, and then we decided on using the V-shaped steel columns and make a contemporary reinterpretation of the traditional colonnade. And then we started studying the structure. We decided to do this flying ring with steel structure, and studied all kinds of alternatives with the structural engineer. By the way, this was not a conceptual design competition. We submitted structural, mechanical, and electrical reports along with the architecture drawings as well. And studying the structure also gave us other ideas about forming the building mass, like extending the top here. So sustainability was one of our foremost purposes, objectives since the beginning of the project, and we wanted to achieve this through, firstly, with a flexible and rational plan that would accommodate future needs in time. Secondly, with robust materials sourced locally. And thirdly, with minimizing the energy consumption with passive methods, not active ones mostly. So what we did here was, in summary, we minimized the closed spaces. We kept the depth of office spaces at 8 meters to allow natural lighting and natural cross ventilation, and the air flows through the outer and inner facades into the atrium. And artificial heating and ventilation is only in these closed spaces. No heating or cooling in the atrium and open corridor areas. And the atrium we covered with 1,400 square meters of photovoltaic integrated glass, which provides electricity and shading at the same time. We used green roof, which will provide the direly needed heat installation as well as water absorption, while providing a habitat for local and migratory birds. And on the south facade, we used deeply recessed windows and horizontal louvers for shading. And with the help of the natural terrain, we kept one facade of the closed parking garage open to further minimize the artificial HVAC systems. So the resulting layout plan divides the site into two diagonally somehow, and the upper northern part is mostly the landscape part, except for this hard surface courtyard for holding ceremonies and to allowing protocol vehicles. And the whole building, except for the skylight, is covered with green roof, which you can access via those ramps. And the southeastern part is for open parking and vehicle circulation. There is a shortcut public staircase leading directly down to the park area, and this water tower is turned into a sightseeing tower that I will show. This is a circulation diagram. As you see, one can walk all the way up to the building top and then go down via those public staircases, open staircases. And then we structurally enhanced the water tower with steel and wrapped it around with spiraling staircases and platforms, so that it functions as a sightseeing tower, as I said. And we restricted the vehicle traffic on the eastern end of the site, except for the protocol vehicles, which use it from time to time. We also created a shortcut path between the open parking lot and the entrances, pedestrian entrances of the building on the northern side. And on this long section, you see how we achieve this sloping mass. We positioned the column-free white spaces on one end, the foyer, the conference hall, and the committee rooms, without any extra stories above them, in order to optimize the structure. And then the rest of the section goes through the inner street, and there you see open corridors, open staircases, and shortcut bridges between office spaces. And the inner street ends with a transparent facade to prevent a dead-end effect and visually connect interior and outside. And this is a diagram showing how the functions are stacked. And so we grouped this 3,000 square meter committee spaces here, and the rest are the administrative spaces, 16,000 square meter. Very quickly, I'm going to show the floor plans. This is the second basement floor, totally buried into the ground with technical spaces and garage and conference hall. It's the first basement floor, which is again a parking garage, which is directly accessible from the open parking area. And then we have the conference hall here. And here's the shortcut path going underneath the building towards the entrances for people parking their cars here. And here you see the colonnade, the shaded colonnade that we created here on this side of the building, which shelters the different entrances. The entrance to the foyer of the conference hall, Provincial Council entrance, the protocol entrance, and the administrative entrance. And this is the shaded colonnade area. And here is the public staircase for going up or down from the green roof of the building. So first floor, second floor, here you see the bridges that provide efficient circulation, also provide inefficient gathering spaces, stumbling upon spaces for people using the building. And on this floor you see we created a balcony here connected with the open corridor so that people can get fresh air and they will use it for smoking mostly actually. And then it gets bigger as you go up. Highest floor. And this is the physical model that we submitted, which we did with wood only in order to emphasize the merger of architecture and geography. And a view from the inner streets, as you see, we use the same stone cladding everywhere, outside and inside, so that it's a continuation. And here you see the pools we used, referring to the traditional architecture of the colonnade with V-shaped steel columns. And this is another picture. Here you see the PV glass clearly shading the inside, creating a cool inner street, naturally ventilated. And the building mass, seen from northeast, you see the same natural stone cladding used everywhere throughout the building. And this is how it will look like more in real, with the full presence of the preserved trees. And this is a view from the southeastern side, and view from the water tower and